Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a video here to talk about Go-Go Loser Ranger Volume 2. I reviewed Volume 1 a while back. I think it was like 5 months ago, 4 months ago. I've been meaning to get around to this, and I just kept putting it off. I've owned Volume 2 for a while, and the thing is, at my local Barnes & Nobles, I have a bunch of them around here, every time I go to them, and I'm just browsing through manga, I come across Go-Go Loser Ranger and remember, hey, I need to get back to this because I really enjoyed Volume 1 back when I reviewed it. And now there's like 10 books on the shelf, and I don't know what happened there. The same thing is going on with Kagura Baki, where it's like every time I go to Walmart or something, there's a new copy out there. And I'm like super behind, you know? Which, with that being said, I need to review Volume 2 of that. I'm going to go back and get a reminder and look through that book again before I do it, because that book was very different from this, my experience anyway. Well, again, Go-Go Loser Ranger is a Power Rangers parody. I really dig it. I thought this was even better than Volume 1 for me personally. It is building up to such a fun experience. I mean, just in general, I laughed a lot reading Volume 1, and I laughed a lot reading this one too. It really has such a good sense of humor as a parody, but also as its own thing for me personally. If you haven't read the book, this is kind of spoiler-free for this volume, but a little bit of spoiler for the previous book. Essentially, Fighter D gets a nickname in here, by the way, d-kun, like d-kun, like the best friend from King of Queens. But he gets that a little bit into the book, and I'm assuming that's what he's going to kind of go by to the people who know who he is. But he is really being shaped into a good, solid, memorable character for me. I'm really curious what we're going to do with him later on. I really like him so far, his personality. There's almost like this, almost an anti-hero Naruto, if you will. That seems like that's what we're doing with him. And I feel like he's going to live up to snuff, despite what everyone around him wants him to be, and what he actually is. And I know that's weird and vague for anybody who hasn't read the series, anybody who hasn't read this book, but just trust me on that. That's what it feels like we're heading towards. Anyway, the book starts off with the Dragon Keepers, these Power Rangers wannabes, having like a banquet. And the Red Keeper can't transform back to his regular self anymore because of the previous book. And he lost his morpher. So, essentially, amongst the banquet, the other people, including like trainees, well, a trainee in particular of the Red Keeper, tells him that, hey, since you've done this and you've lost this piece of equipment that's very, very valuable, it's shameful and you should have to step down. I'm pretty sure he killed that guy. I'm pretty sure he beat him in the head so heavily with like 1 or 2 punches that the dude is stuck to the wall standing up because of where his head used to be. I could be wrong about that, but that's what it seems like happened in that picture, in those panels. But you can tell there's this atmosphere of the other Rangers, or Keepers, whatever. I'm going to keep doing that, I'm sorry. You can tell that they're kind of spooked by him, you know? The other Keepers may not be that bad of people. And as heroes, well, supposed heroes, the way the series seems to be going so far, they need to be tough, they need to be well-equipped to fight. The Red Keeper seems nuts. He seems a little nuts, dude. Maybe he shouldn't be your leader. I'm curious how he became that. But nonetheless, there was a female character in the previous volume that obviously will probably be more important. Just so you know up front, she's barely in this book, but clearly they're going to do more with her in the future. I liked getting to study up a little bit more on the Keepers and how their ranking system works within like their academy and how you become a Red Keeper or any of the Keeper colors over time as a Dragon Keeper. That stuff was really kind of generic, but kind of fun too, because Fighter D, or d-kun, if you want to call him that, kind of gets tied up into that about halfway through the book or so. Well, probably further on, like 75% of the book. But there's a really kind of cool setup to what could be coming. We know that the Keepers and the fighters, the alien guys on the little planet chained to the Earth, they had their whole deal where they plan out fights, and the monsters will show up on Sunday and fight the Dragon Keepers and lose every single time. That's kind of the general agreement that they have, and they have for a while now. But the Keepers decide to show up, led by the Red Ranger. Shit, here we go again. The Red Keeper, and he tells them, hey, just so you know, we're going to station some of our apprentices here from now on. We're just going to do that, and you're going to accept our terms. And the fighters, the monsters, get kind of like put off by that, and no joke, he just starts decimating people. he does it. One of them happened to be Fighter d-kun, who gets knocked into next Tuesday. So far away that they actually send out one of the kind of apprentices, if you will. I think he was like the third rank or something amongst the different ranks that lead up to becoming a Dragon Keeper. And this particular fella, I don't know his name, but he was kind of threatening, to be honest. He started out kind of meek and mild. He has a stutter and everything. And he seems like he would be easy to beat. And then when d-kun meets another guy, who apparently is one of the apprentices too, trying to become a Dragon Keeper, who kind of becomes friendly with him, and they kind of bond, but they shouldn't. But they do, and it works. To me, it really worked. This has really good writing for the dialogue, for the plotting, the pacing. If there's a fight, it's super well paced. I really, really like how it takes its time. It's not rushed like a lot of modern shonen that I read. Not that I've read a ton, but what I do read, it feels super rushed, outside of something like Dragon Ball. And obviously this isn't shonen, as far as I know. Maybe it's an equivalent from another company that's like it. I don't know. But the fact that the pacing is so good for what they're doing here, and the way they built this friendship, not even really friendship, but kinda, amongst d-kun and this other keeper guy, I think his name is Hibiki, if I remember correctly, that little friendship was so nice, and watching them kind of bond was nice too, until this guy tracking d-kun shows up. But this Ranker Keeper Apprentice guy becomes really dangerous, some of the stuff that he can do, some of the abilities that he has, and they don't feel like something I've really seen all that much before, which was really refreshing to me personally. Even as somebody who's kind of a normie amongst manga, I was impressed. I really like what they did with him here. And I gotta tell you, by the end of this particular portion of the book, with the fighting amongst the apprentice and d-kun, I really enjoyed this. And again, I had a great time. I had laughs. I had really fun moments with this. There were some heartfelt moments too. But then there's some parts we go into later on in the book. I cannot tell you about it, but probably I would say in the last 2 or 3 chapters of the book are where we kind of divert into a new type of story that I didn't really expect us to go into as a series. I always thought it would be more of d-kun fighting the Dragon Keepers in different ways, being more creative about it, going into disguise since he's a shapeshifter. And that's utilized so beautifully, by the way, that ability in here. d-kun really shines. And I really, really like him. I know I just keep hitting on that, but I can't help it. He's just a refreshing, fun kind of anti-hero character. He's kind of like if you had Dragon Ball from Vegeta's perspective for like the whole storyline. That's what it feels like we're kind of doing sometimes. And I enjoy that. But yeah, there's this really fun area they went into by the end of this that, to be honest with you, without trying to give away too much, I have to tell you this much, even as a spoiler-free review. It feels like we're heading into what I talked about in my previous review for Volume 1. It feels like we're doing My Hero Academia, but right. You know? And I know that they're completely different. That's a more hopeful story, even though I don't love it as much as I love this. This feels like we're almost referencing that, but doing it better to me so far. So I'm really excited about seeing where this goes in future volumes, like I said. The art was really good. I really enjoyed that. Some of the nice reveals we get in here, like this female character that was in the last volume so much, hanging out with d-kun. She was bizarre and kind of mean-spirited, and seemed like she didn't like the other Dragon Keepers, and we weren't really getting a lot of info yet about why that was the case. You do get teases in here, especially in that first banquet chapter I talked about at the very beginning of the book. You're getting hints, especially with the Red Keeper and how he is mentally, that you kind of understand where she was coming from in Volume 1 and why she would begin to want to betray them. This was really good. I really, really loved this. I gave it a 5 on Goodreads, for God's sake. That tells you I probably really loved it. I am so excited to see where the rest of these books go. I think there's like 16 of them out now, from what I understand, looking at different parts of the internet. I think it was Goodreads I checked out mainly. But I can't wait to read more of this. I am so stoked to see what's going to happen with the rest of the series. It is so impressively creative, and it has been so enjoyable. And again, for people out there who love like fighting manga and stuff, this has been up to snuff. If you love Power Rangers, this is up to snuff. I think you love it for that alone. I would have adored this as a teenager or as a kid if it had been around back then. So anyway, have you read Volume 2 of Go-Go Loser Ranger? Do you love it? Do you hate it? I would love to hear all your thoughts and comments about it down below. I really need to pick up Volume 3 sometime soon and really delve into more of this series faster. But I have so much that's coming up soon, like with March releases for different manga and other books too. But I'm also in the middle of a bunch of things, series-wise, that I want to get into and get through before my memory gets bad. Or worse, you could say. So anyway, I want to dig into this soon. I can't tell you how soon I can get to Volume 3, but I'm going to try my best to get to it within the next, month, because I really want to. It's really been entertaining. So anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. Did Go-Go Loser Ranger surprise you so far as much as it has me? I would love to hear what you all have to say about it if you're enjoying it so much down below. The way I am, I cannot wait to see what we do. It just feels like one surprise after another, and they just keep getting better as reveals. So anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.